Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone is doing wonderfully on this Friday, the day before Halloween, the day before we have another full moon, two full moons this month. So, full moons are perfect for charging your crystals, cleansing your tarot cards. Put them on a windowsill where, the moonlight's coming down and just leave them there for the night. Really good for that. And I want to mention that, you know, because we have to do something on Halloween, right? We need to do something. We have to have some fun. The pandemic can't take away all of our fun. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to come on live and for the general public, for all of you, and do messages from spirit. So you can ask me questions. I will take out my tarot and give you some answers. I'll answer as many people as I possibly can. Then for my members, I'll do it at 4 p.m. Eastern. And once again, I'll answer as many as I possibly can. I know I can't answer everyone. There's just too many people, but I answer as many as I can. I do my best with that. And I just want to say, thank you to all of my members because I had to reschedule the ET channeling. It's going to be this Sunday, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. Sometimes things just come up in life, and when it's family related and health related, you just have to do what you need to do. But my mom is fine, so please don't worry. She's actually doing wonderfully. Annie came out last week. Well, on Wednesday. On Wednesday, she came out when we did the book club. She oversaw the book club. Um, Next month, we're going to be doing, because I left it up to you guys. I gave you that poll with three different choices, and you chose Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukov, one of my favorite books. I love that book. Um, so I also want to mention that one of my clients, and I like to think friend, Dr. James Lewis, has a book that is live on Amazon today, and it's called Portal to Infinity. And it talks about how you can create your own life. And he was kind enough to give me some credit in the book. I do channeling work for him. We do have a raw connection. We found out when I was in a channeled state. And, one of the things I do for him that I can, that I do for some of you that ask me to is channel your higher self, because then you can really get some fabulous information from your higher self. So today I'm going to actually tip my camera, which I don't do very often, but I do want to do a full spread for you today. And so what I would like to do is take a good look at Trump in November. Now, on October 21st, in the community tab, everyone has access to the community tab. Just go to my homepage, click on community, you'll see it. I know iPads don't support it though, which is such a nuisance. Um, I posted though that the Schumann resonance had this huge blackout. So the Schumann resonance is the frequency of this planet, correct? And so there was like this 8-hour blackout for us in the Eastern time zone. It happened around 7 to 8 a.m. for 8 hours. I mean, so there's basically no way that the Earth can't have a frequency, right? I mean, we've had other blips, but they were much shorter. This was significant. So this was October 21st. And a lot of you, I mean, hundreds of you actually, sent me emails. You put in the comment sections that you were feeling dizzy, lightheaded, ringing in the ears. You felt tired. You felt out of sorts. You were off kilter. You knew something was happening. And so the general consensus in the community that studies the Schumann resonance is that we change timelines. That makes a lot of sense to me. The timeline that we were on prior to October 21st was a timeline that Amy Coney Barrett didn't get rammed through at the last minute like that. Instead, our elected officials were going to be busily working on getting us a relief package, for the coronavirus. And all of a sudden, that all changed. So just a few days after we have this major blackout, our timeline switched. And now we have a different reality. So I said in my last video that on the astral plane, I first saw the black fence gate. I mean, it's all metal, it's solid around her, around Amy Coney Barrett, shielding her, protecting her. And then some of you said, you've been working on trying to break it down. Like I said, I was in a group that did that for 3 years. It's exhausting work. I don't recommend doing it alone. You should be part of a group. When I went back after seeing that some of you have been working on it, they knew it. Whoever put it up knew it. And I really don't know the exact group that did this. I don't know. And I would assume where it's so well done that this probably was a group, that there was egregores, thought forms that look very real, shrouded figures, and, they made them look scary. And this is something that I couldn't tunnel underneath or fly up above or go around. And so she is very much protected. And that also limited my ability to get very much information on her. The tarot consistently showed money, 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 money. But then it also showed the very next reading I did, things could be changing for her. And so the sense that I get is that this is rather temporary with her. So, and I'm all bundled up today because where I live here on the East Coast, the weather plummeted. And north of me, they're getting snow. So it's got really chilly fast. It was unseasonably warm, unseasonably warm. Like we were actually wearing some short sleeves here and there. And now it's very chilly. Um, so one of the things that I did see, and I shared this in my last video, is that it created what I was shown on the astral plane is that it created a little door, not a big door. This wasn't some, massive door to like a castle. This was a little door that I was shown that could allow Trump to get through. So that's part of this timeline that we are now on. But who's to say that we're not going to switch timelines again? I will keep you posted on all of that. I will keep sharing that with you. For those of you that don't check the community section, make a point to do that. I put a lot of things in there because that does change things. Now there's actually a little glimmer of hope for Trump that wasn't actually there before. And so I'm going to do a full layout here on Trump in November. And I'm going to do the Celtic cross spread that I like so much. And I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see it, okay? The other thing I would like to share with all of you is that I'm releasing a new meditation video today. And usually that's just for members, but I think this is too important this time. And so I'm going to release it for everyone. And what it is raising your vibration to help heal the planet. Because as light workers, that's the best thing we can do to have a good outcome on election day. We want, we want good to triumph, right? That's what this is all about. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you. Please, please do it. Do it as often as you like, right up until, the election is over. Have you seen how many people have come out to vote? I mean, that part is actually quite heartening. We have this right to vote and people haven't taken advantage of it, but this is the most, people have ever turned out. So I think that is good. I think a lot of good things are going to come out of all of this. And like I said, as we get closer, I am just feeling calmer and more at peace. And, just remember the universe did bring you this far in your life. You're not just going to have, the bottom fall out on you. Whatever happens, it's going to be okay. And I just want to see what the tarot has to say. Okay, so I'm going to point this downwards. I apologize for any creaking sounds. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to do it upside down from me so you can see. Oh my gosh, doing it upside down is messing with my mind. Okay, so you can probably tell that, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. I'm going to do that as a clarifier, but I'd like to do another clarifier while I'm at it. It's so cold that it's making my clatter ring slip. Okay. Wow. Wow. And this is going to be one of those readings. I'm going to let it stand as is, because I just think it's so telling. Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay, so here we go. So this is Trump in November. The card that represents him is the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a card of loss. It's oftentimes called a poverty card. It's the card of losing your job, losing your money, losing your health. There just really isn't a positive connotation to this card, except you have no place else to go but up, I suppose, after you go through that. His obstacle, the Empress, the card of abundance. And I do think that she does represent the best of America. So this is one of my cards for the US. And so that's his obstacle is abundance and, dare I say, America. Okay. His conscious thoughts, bickering, arguing, not being able to pull people together. If you notice, all five of these characters are wearing different garments. That means they have nothing in common and they can't get past their differences. And you know that they're talking about arguing, bickering, verbal things because they're not touching each other with the wands. But instead of using the wands to do something productive, like build a house, they're choosing to be angry, okay, and to not work together. Um, his subconscious thoughts, the Hermit, here he is all alone. So let me ask Spirit, because there's two different meanings that I could take with this card. So let me ask my guide how I should interpret this one. Okay, all right, I will go with that. So one of the meanings of this card is that there's going to be some reflection, introspection, some thinking by the person. So Trump's actually going to go through a period of reflection, but he's going to be all alone. But he's going to be all alone. Okay, so there he's by himself. So in the past position, Two of Swords. First of all, she's blindfolded, correct? That means she's not looking at what is coming up, not looking at reality, not looking at things for what they are. And also having to make a decision because they're at a crossroads, right? So in the past, it's sort of like he wasn't seeing the forest for the trees and he had to make a decision. And, maybe that decision was to run again. Time will tell how that card will play out in his near future. So now I'm only looking at November. So this would be towards the beginning of November. Page of Swords for me is a card of legal battles. Now, for those of you who question, I have sometimes people write, I don't think the cards mean that. I think because you're not looking at all the layers of a card. So at the heart of Swords, it's all about truth, justice, and ethics. Every single sword is double-sided, talking about fairness, equality, balance, and that every story has two sides. And to be fair, you have to look at all sides. But he's wielding the sword of truth. So this oftentimes means news of an upcoming legal battle. And this would sort of reinforce the idea that maybe he won't accept the results, maybe he'll try to delay the results, maybe he'll try to push the results too soon before everything gets counted, and it ends up somehow having to be decided by someone official. We have a new leader coming in. And then we have the card that oftentimes, this is one of my two cards for Trump, um, simply because it comes up in his readings again and again and again. And once again, there's so many layers to this card, but do we really need to look at them? The devil is sinful. He has committed sins. Um, so we have a new leader. So really interesting when you look at this. Some sort of legal battle going on where the new leader, who's going to ride in victorious and triumphant, comes in. And then there's Trump. And, this is a card of loss. This is a card of sin. So let's keep going with this. The way he sees himself, 10 of Swords, he feels betrayed. And there's a certain amount of drama with this card, almost like the person's overreacting. Like maybe things aren't quite this bad, but they're a little bit of a drama queen. And so he's feeling very much betrayed, like people have been disloyal. There's really no good spin on this card except, sort of like the Five of Pentacles. There's no place to go but up. How other people see him. Well, this comes up a lot in readings for him too. They see that his life is going to be thrown into chaos, upheaval, disruption. Lightning strikes the tower. People are leaping to their deaths. It's on fire. It blows off the crown chakra. And the problem is that the tower is not built on a sturdy foundation, because in theory, a tower could withstand a lightning strike, but it wasn't built well. And I think that's what we're actually talking about. Was his presidency built on a strong foundation? His hopes and fears, this is pretty obvious. Um, the Chariot is about going forward victoriously and triumphantly. So, I mean, that's obviously a hope. And there's also a certain amount of the person taking action and the person using hard will. This is very much opposite of the Strength card, where that's all about gentleness and patience. This is the person trying to use their hard will to manifest their desires, right? Now, here's the interesting part. This is the culmination for, and I'll just pull the camera up. This is the culmination of November for him. This is his November outcome. We get my card for the virus. Okay, so we know that this has had a big impact on his presidency and how people perceive him. So the virus has something to do with his November outcome. And then we get the card of pulling back, retreating, withdrawing. This can also imply illness. When you put these two cards together, giving the meaning that I give this card, there's really, there's no good meaning with this card in that sense. It can imply illness, and it can also imply that he is stepping back. He's going away. Now, to complement the Page of Swords, which is my card for legal battles, we get the Justice card. And so this does have that real feel, like it's all going to be decided judicially, officially, maybe in the courts. And maybe this was the reason that they pushed through Amy Coney Barrett. Okay. And then to finish it out is the Death card. Two levels to this card. Yes, it can mean death, particularly where I've gotten these two cards. But usually it means transition and transformation. And so that would be sort of like a change in his life. Things not proceeding as usual. Okay. So I hope that gives you a little bit of clarity. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same, but with Biden. Okay. Because I think we need to be very careful reading all of this in this timeline that it seems like we have crossed into. Things have changed a bit. But, as light workers, I really hope all of you are going to do that meditation. There's a part that I put in where you're opening your heart chakra, you're sending your energy to the earth. And, the thing is, this will also teach you how to raise your own vibes. Because, oftentimes we talk a lot about, raising your vibration to manifest or to feel good or to heal. And, but how do you do it? And so I do break that down in that video. And then how do you send that to someone? How do you send that good energy to someone? And I am going to show you how you send it to the earth. And it's just going to be a beautiful meditation. And I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy it. So let's turn our attention towards Biden and in particular, his November. My ring is driving me nuts. Okay. At the end of this video, I am going to post everything that is going to be live for members in November. So just make sure you check that out. I am going to go live in November to answer any tarot questions you may have. You can you can ask me in real time, and I will answer you. My goal is to do one live thing every month. I mean, every week, and then every week you get a new meditation and a new tarot class. Once we manage to make it through all the different cards, we'll start looking at the astrology, we'll start looking at colors, numerology, the different spreads, the card pairings. There's just so much to learn with tarot. Okay, so Spirit, what is it that we need to know about Biden in November? Are there any changes? What do we need to be aware of? Okay, so I'm going to pull this down again. Hopefully you can see. Okay. Pull it back so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do some clarifiers. Okay, so let's take a look at them. So the card that represents Biden, Nine of Pentacles, this is a card of financial independence, gaining money, being financially secure. And I think it's probably speaking to the fact that he raised so much money. He raised so much more money than Trump. And so that's what I'm thinking. Because, the most golden coins you can get on a card is 10, and there's 9 here. So um, I think that's what that's speaking to. His obstacle, Wheel of Fortune. So he's having difficulties with this turning point in his life. So something is interfering with him coming into a turning point into his life. His conscious thoughts, Knight of Swords. To me, this card oftentimes comes up when there's change. Um, but he's also thinking about moving forward. I mean, that horse is going. Look at all the motion and activity in that card, right? That horse is going. It's not like, say, the Knight of Pentacles that's standing still. This horse is going. So he is really working hard on moving forward. Subconscious card. This is a card of having to make decisions and not particularly liking the decisions in front of you. There's a certain amount of apathy with this card. So this could be something behind the scenes that we just simply don't know. That there's been decisions that he's had to make along the way that maybe he hasn't particularly cared for. And I do wonder, as much as I love Kamala Harris, if it's because, maybe one of the decisions he had to make was getting a vice president that wasn't his first choice. Because I did see in that remote viewing that he was far more interested in a different candidate. But you know what? I think Kamala is fantastic all the way. So in the past, we get the Lover's card. And the Lover's card talks, first of all, about healing, right? This is Archangel Raphael. There's a healing component to this. There's also balance, harmony, love. This card has wonderful implications. So in the past, I think maybe his intention is to heal the country by becoming president, um, to promote love and harmony and balance. So, how his November is going to begin. So I'm not going to worry too much about the Wheel of Fortune card because he gets the other card that's sort of similar as the outcome for the beginning of November. And this is the World card. So the World card is about completion, ending one phase. And if you notice, her foot is stepping through the laurel wreath. She's getting ready to start a new phase of her life. Financial new beginning, getting good news about money, more money coming in. This is probably just a little bit of validation that, his campaign surely did raise plenty of finances. This is the card that catches my interest, though. Here we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is a teacher, a leader. Um, he obviously is a religious figure. Some people call this the Pope card, but he's also someone that is in a position that can make decisions. He has authority and power. And so that would be sort of consistent with Trump getting like the Page of Swords and, getting cards that really denote maybe this is going to be decided legally. So I wouldn't be surprised if, there's a bigger picture here that we're going to have to look at where we may not know the results or the results are going to be contested later. Um, but both of them did get similar concepts with their outcome cards. Um, so the way he sees himself, this is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is someone who is astute. She's balanced, she's fair, intellectual, analytical. And so I think, he's just reflecting on himself and just looking at his best qualities. That's all I can really say about that. How others see him. We get the death card once again, just like with Trump's reading. So this is a card of transition and transformation. Things in his life are changing, and the people around him are obviously recognizing that. What he is hoping for. This is a card that talks about stability. There's a lot of predictability, reliability, stability, those sort of concepts with this card. I don't think it has so much to do with money in his case, because this can talk about like mental well-being and things like that. I think what this is probably speaking to, if it's speaking to the finances, he hopes to stabilize the American economy and get the people what they need. And also to bringing about a sense of well-being. Now, later in the month, I am going to do another reading on this because to me, this actually could mean illness. He did get three cards that can talk about illness. So, Three of Swords. It can certainly be about heartbreak and heartache, but it can also be about an actual illness. Um, Page of Cups can often come up when there's healing that needs to be done. Um, I mean, I know that it has other meanings, but considering that it's surrounded by the cards, it's surrounded by not so sure. And then here is a card of having to retreat and withdraw. And so I'm really curious how we should be looking at that. So it's almost like the beginning of the month, everything is really, really good for him. Everything's fantastic. And then I wonder if this is just speaking to the fact that when I go into both candidates' energy, they both feel sickly to me. And I think they've been on the campaign trail for months. It's exhausting work. I don't think that's out of the ordinary. So let me see, what is like the real, true, ultimate outcome with him in regards to the actual election? Let's pull away from the fact that he could be sick and see what the actual election results would be. I mean, interesting. You know, interesting how we're getting all these pentacle cards. Um, so this is a card of the saying that I always think of when I see this card is that you reap what you sow. And so he's been busily, working on making that pile of coins. And so it's sort of like your intentions are coming true. And then he gets the sun. For me, this is a yes card. This is an assurance card. It's a card of enlightenment. The baby on the horse, can refer to like a new beginning. Really no negatives with this card. For those of you learning tarot, if you're doing a yes no question and this comes up, this is always a yes card for me. Okay, and then he does get the star, another major arcana card. And that talks about wishes coming true, like when you wish upon a star, about faith, hope, and inspiration. This is one of my cards for the US. And so I feel pretty good about Biden's cards, and less so about Trump's. But I think we need to remain vigilant and we need to watch our energy. We need to watch what we are projecting. We need to feel that calm. And we also need to raise our energy so that we are putting out the best vibes possible, that we are putting out the best outcome possible. And I'm going to do a little bit of a mini read here on Kamala versus Pence. And let's see, I'm not going to do the full Celtic cross again, but let's see how those two people look in November, because that's also very telling too, isn't it? I think if we attack this from 4 different angles, it'll give us a bit of enlightenment. So I'm going to look at Kamala first. For those of you that watched Hogarth, he had wonderful things to say about her. I really do feel like she is going to be a president. I would be shocked if she wasn't. Um, and astrologically speaking, oh my goodness, if you watched his presentation on her, oh, and he and I are going to get together again to talk about Inauguration Day because there's so much going on that day. Okay. Okay. Let me let me pull this down so you can see what I'm pulling. Okay, so this is Kamala's line, and now I'm going to do Pence's. I can't believe how many of his staffers are sick. That's really something, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, you have to see this. Once again, so telling. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at Kamala. Actually, I think the Queen of Swords is perfect for her. This is somebody who is intelligent, analytical, ethical, astute, witty, good with words. Four of Pentacles, the card of stability. She does seem like a very stable person, doesn't she? And I do think, just like Biden, because this came up with Biden, that they want to restore stability, both with our finances, but also with our mental well-being. Because let's face it, we have been through so much. She's going to bring about change. Look at that horse rearing up. This horse is ready to go. This is a card of change. Um, and then really beautiful Ace of Wands. Aces are about new beginnings, and Ace of Wands is about a fertile new beginning. If you look at the wand, look at all those beautiful green leaves coming off of it. This wand isn't dead, it's alive. And so the seeds that she has been planting are going to be coming into fruition. So that's a really beautiful message. So for, gosh, I'm trying to not be biased where we've changed timelines. I'm trying to just be straightforward with you. But here we go again. Two of Pentacles, juggling money overseas. Why is that coming up in Pence's reading? Why? Again, and I think we know why, right? I don't think you have to be psychic to figure that one out. Seven of Swords, trying to steal and get away with it. He's looking over his shoulder. He managed to get 5 of the 7 swords, and he's just booking it, hoping nobody catches him. Um, we just get this card again and again, and this does, invoke ideas of Russia, right? Because this is the only card that really looks Russian. Knight of Pentacles. This is, out of all the knights, he is the slowest moving knight. Do you see the difference between Kamala's knight rearing up and going and Pence's? So, there is a certain amount of practicality because, pentacles are practical and stable. But there's also no movement. And so kind of like this, like nothing's really going anywhere. And then he gets the Fool card. There's always layers. Did he act foolishly? Or is he about to go on a new adventure, a new journey? Is he about to have a change where now he's off someplace else living his life? And that very well could be it. Um, so I hope that brings a little bit of clarity for everyone, but I did want to address that. I really do feel like we are shifting timelines, and I am not convinced that we may not do it again. Who says that we can't? Like I said before, there are forces of good and evil in the astral plane, and they are working on this. And so you do your part in the physical world by taking physical action, going to vote, cast your vote, do it safely. You don't want to get sick. And then also by trying to affect the etheric world, because voting's energy. All of this is energy. Everything in the that you can see and everything that you can't see is energy. And so focus your energy where you want it to go with the outcome that you want. Okay? Because as light workers, we do make a difference. So this is the time that we get to work. All right, everyone. It was a pleasure reading for all of you. Keep the faith. It's going to be fine. My spirit guide always says all is well. For those of you in the book club reading The New Earth, we just finished that on Wednesday. And, the story of the king getting the ring, and the ring says, "This too shall pass." This is all temporary, okay? So all of these difficulties that we're going through is temporary. It's not permanent. It's not going to last. We're going to be able to move forward. Okay, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I will see everyone on Halloween. Bye.